everybody, Lord Tremendous here, and I got another battle report here for you. This one's kind of cool. So I've been playing Warhol, that's the only way I've been playing this game lately, and I joined the online tournament, the Squarebase Online Tournament 2, or SBOT, S-B-O-T. It's been 5 games so far. This is the only one that I have a battle report for, though, because I didn't start doing them until, well, game 5 of the battle report, or of the tournament anyway. So that's why we're starting towards the end. But a quick recap: I won my first 3 games, and I made it into the finals, the top 16. Yeah, I'm as shocked as you are. I got my butt kicked in game 4 by a superior Wood Elf player. Really, really good guy. Really, really good game. But I shot at his general, not realizing that he had evasive, which gave him the opportunity to fall back in good order. And then he looked at the rear of Itamedagasi and sent him off to the next life. It was game changing, but really good game, and my opponent was awesome. In this game, my opponent is awesome as well, and this is a really good battle report, so I'm excited to share it with everybody. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see the carnage. Here's my list, and try to keep in mind, I put this list together kind of quick. I waited till almost last minute to submit for this tournament, and I made some choices that were less than educated, but it was still a lot of fun to play. For my characters, I have 827 points in total. I start with my High Priest, Itamedagasi, coming in at 445 points. He's my general. He's on his Bone Dragon, level 4 Wizard with Illusion, Lore Familiar, Talisman of Protection, and the Serpent Staff. A buddy of mine that plays Tomb Kings for a lot longer than I have suggested this kit, well, with the Serpent Staff at least, and I like it. I like it a lot. I like the triple save. I like being able to choose my spells, and the Serpent Staff is really good. It gives him Strength 5, AP 2. It's a good kit. My second High Priest, Bernice, 267. This is all me. Love this kit. Level 4 Wizard. She's on a Skeletal Steed, Necromancy, Scarab Brooch, Warding Splint, and the Ruby Ring of Ruin. The only thing I might take off of her is the Scarab Brooch, because honestly, while the 6 extra inches is nice, I found for the most part it hasn't really been needed. And then, of course, Baby Mage is still there as my Mortuary Priest. He's 115 points. He's a level 2 wizard with Elementalism, and I give him the Amulet of Serpent just so that the archers could have poison. For my core, I have 664 points total, starting off with 13 skeleton archers that make up 65 points of that. They have hand weapons and warbows. They're butt naked. The original thought was they're a bunker for the Mortuary Priest so that he can heal the Boshati or anyone else within 12 inches of him. He was really just a band-aid, and the skeleton archers were his bunker. I have learned a lot since then. I have 2 Necroserpents for 80 points. There's nothing special about these guys at all. I took them because I needed to fill out my core, and I like the initiative checks that they cause when I pull them up with the Terrors Below, which I did pay for. I have 10 Skeleton Horse Archers for 120 points. They've got light armor and warbows. They're more of a screen for Bernice, but in their own right, they're actually pretty good with their shots. And then I have the star of the show, 8 Ushapti, and they've got great bows, and of course they're an ancient, and they cover 400 points, 399 in my core. In special, I just took the 154 points of required 2 Scorpions. I did give both units the Terrors Below because I like being able to pop them up and cause initiative checks. Not great against elves, pretty good about everything else though. I like it. And then in rare, I have 355 points. I have a Necrolith Colossus. He's 160 points. I do like the Colossus. I don't know if I'm going to keep him in the list. I don't plan to keep him in the list. He has done some stuff this tournament. Not a ton, but I do like the Colossus. What I don't like is the Necrosphinx. He is awful. Just awful. His claws are made out of cotton, and his armor might as well have been left on the field because never makes any saves, never does anything in combat. I know it's a good unit. I know a lot of people swear by him. I know people take 2, and they're like, I can't play Tomb Kings without him. I will never take a Necrosphinx again. I'm super disappointed with this model. Here's my opponent's list. He was playing regular Tomb Kings and goes by the screen name Kazandu. I'm almost positive I'm saying that right, so if not, I apologize in advance. He had 921 points of characters. His Tomb King was his general, coming in at 461 points. He's on a Bone Dragon. He's got the Armor of Ages, the Potion of Toughness, and a Talisman of Protection. Gave him a great weapon and a shield. This guy was something else. I underestimated a Tomb King on a Bone Dragon. Won't make that mistake again. His High Priest, coming in at 460 points, is also on a Bone Dragon, level 4 Wizard with Illusion, Serpent Staff, Warding Splint, Lore Familiar, Potion of Speed. So, really, really strong character list. His core comes in at 537 points, and he has 10 skeleton archers for 55 points with a standard and a warbows, hand weapons of course, and then of course 6 skeleton chariots for 320 points. He put a unit champion and a standard bearer in there. Standard bearer is holding the Banner of Sacred Eye, which gives him +1 weapon skill. They got cavalry spears, hand weapons, and warbows as expected. He also has 3 stalkers. I'm not even going to try to say that word. At 153 points. Of course, they have ambush. His special is 150 points total, consisting of 2 Tomb Scorpions, both with Ambusher. And his rare choices consist of 390 points total, which consists of 2 Necrosphinx at 195 points each. This list is steel hard, let me tell you. I was excited to play it, though. When I saw it, I was like, this is going to be fun. I like to be challenged. Here are my spells. In Medigasi got Glittering Robes, Column of Crystals, Spectral Doppelganger, and the Miasma one that stops you from charging. Bernice got Incantation of Desert Wind, Curse of Years, Deathly Cabal, and Spirit Leech. Those two will be mostly useless. And then Baby Mage got Incantation of Cursed Blades, and the Conveyance spell that I just don't use. I need to, I just never think to. My opponent got Incantation of Desert Wind, Column of Crystal, Spectral Doppelganger, and the Miasma. Here's deployment, and it was that weird box deployment or whatever. I'd never actually played this scenario before, but it was really cool to see Tomb Kings on the other side, so I was distracted as all hell. On the left side there, I've got Medigasi. My game plan going into this was kill his Hierophant as quick as possible to force crumble checks, and keep Medigasi away from his general as long as possible, maybe going in after him if I could put like 4 or 5 wounds on him and just hope that I could push through Spectral Doppelganger and finish him off, because having to re-roll wounds is going to be a pain. But you'll see how that goes. But yeah, Medigasi's on the side there, putting a lot of pressure on the anything that comes into the middle. I've got my horse archers screening Bernice to just try to put wounds down wherever they can. I got the Colossus right next to the archers, just going to go for targets of opportunity. I would love to put him into the chariots. I know Killing Blow doesn't work on them, but I would love to put him into the chariots. I think that would be a great matchup. Even if they got the charge, I'd be all for it. The archers with Baby Mage are just there to try to help out the Ushabti. I put the Necrosphinx there as a sacrificial unit, possibly against his Tomb King or the chariots, whichever came first. I don't have a lot of trust in my Necrosphinx. You'll see why. And of course, I've got my 8 Boshati, who are going to do their best to hurt the Tomb King before he hurts them. On my opponent's side, his High Priest on a dragon is in the center there, right next to the 2 Necrosphinx. He's got his Brick of Chariots, which I don't know. I don't know about light chariots. Maybe I'm spoiled by Chaos Heavy Chariots. I don't know. I have a low respect for them. And, well, you'll see how that goes. His Tomb King is on the other dragon next to the house, and behind the house are his unit of archers. When he plays him, he goes, you guys are going to stand there and do nothing this game, which I thought was awesome. But, yeah, that's deployment. Here's top of turn 1, and I got to go first. And honestly, there wasn't a whole lot of movement because, as you can see, he's got afterburners on his undead. And my guys are pretty much at best second gear. I did move the Boshati up just a little bit to give me 5 shots at his dragon. Just pot shots, why not? Everything else was kind of in range. I moved the horseman archers up a little bit with Bernice just to make sure I could get the shots off that I wanted. I was going to start pelting his priest because I wanted those crumble checks to start happening. But honestly, I moved my unit of archers up with Baby Mage just to get him in range, just that front rank, because, I moved, so the back rank can't shoot. That was really it. We go into the shooting phase, and the horse archers didn't really do anything, but Bernice does 5 wounds with the Ruby Ring of Ruin. The fireball just obliterated the high priest. It was glorious. I was able to do a couple extra because it was flaming, and they have dry as dust. I was very excited. Bernice did really, really good. Here we go in the bottom of turn 1, and there's this after movement. As you can see, not a whole lot really happened. I did put a wound onto his chariots. I just didn't get a picture from the skeleton archers for all that was good for. His high priest is able to heal a wound off of herself, bringing her down to 4, but I'm still so proud of Bernice. She did so good. His Necrosphinx do a conga line type of thing, looking at me. I know it's bait, and I'm okay with that. That was really it, though. His Tomb King did charge the Boshati. They stood and shot, didn't do anything, but he failed the charge, so I got really lucky there. And that's really it. His chariots kind of moved around to get a better shot. His archers stay right where they were. The high priest shifted over a little bit, and honestly, that was it. It's a quick turn. The only thing of note that happens during the shooting phase is he gets Column of Crystal up and he uses it to shield his rearmost Necrosphinx, which is smart because if Itamedagasi could get into that guy, he definitely would have. That takes us to top of turn 2, and there's some events here. I do bring out the snakes just to put a little bit of pressure on him. I know the snakes aren't going to do a lot. There's really only his skeleton archers that the Terrors Below would work on, and yeah, I'm not going to get anywhere close to them. So I put the snakes out there just to put a little pressure, maybe even force the charge if he was feeling froggy. I didn't realize how good my opponent was. I had no idea who he was. It'll make more sense in the end. I was able to get Curse Years off on his closest Necrosphinx, which should make killing it really easy, and I'm thinking points. My Bernice got Incantation of Desert Wind off, Baby Mage got Incantation of Cursed Blades. It was a pretty good magic phase, so all in all, though, that's what it looks like before movement. Here's what the board looks like after movement. My Itamedagasi and the Colossus go into the Curse of Years Necrosphinx. My Necrosphinx goes into his other Necrosphinx with the idea of just holding him there. And if his chariots charge in, I'd be fine with Itamedagasi getting into that combat. That would be a lot of easy points. I think that's my thought process. I didn't say I was a smart man, just that was my thought process. Bernice, she enjoyed shooting her fireball at the high priest so much, she wants to try it again, so the horse archers with Bernice move over there to get a shot at him. The archers stay right where they're at because there's no reason to move. The Boshati go behind the hill. I didn't think that I was going to be able to put 9 wounds on the Tomb King when I had to re-roll my wounds. He's kind of out of position, not horribly, but I figured if he's coming after the Boshati, he's going to have to come over to the hill. There's no reason for me to move forward. So I backed up a little bit, figuring if he comes this way, great. If not, well, then they can pop back over the hill and start taking pot shots at whatever's available. Also, my 2 Tomb Scorpions come on in the back of the hill, or on the back of the board there. I was educated. I did not realize that ambush had to be done. I thought since I had Terrors Below, I could just summon them on that way. That was my mistake, educated me, it was good to know, and like I said, dude's cool, and I learned some stuff. In the shooting phase, Bernice and the archers are able to get 1 more wound off, or I'm sorry, 3 more wounds onto the high priest. Missed killing him by 1 shot. I was so disappointed, but it was a really, really good phase. The archers did some damage, the fireball did some damage, but when I rolled to see if I could drop them, I didn't roll a 4. Oh, so close. So close! We go into combat, and my Necrosphinx sucks. He just does. I think it did like 1 or 2 wounds to him, which was what I was expecting. But of course, this is what my opponent's Necrosphinx rolls for his big monster slaying shot. It's 1 attack, a 5 to hit, and of course a 6 to wound. Monster killing blow. My Necrosphinx is cursed. Must be made out of the worst wood elves on the planet. I can't wait for the tournament to be over so I never have to field one of these awful, awful monsters again. I know they're good for everyone else. I know I'm pouting. I'm throwing a hissy fit. Mine are awful. They don't work for me. Ugh. That being said, Itameta and my Colossus are able to do a little bit of damage. I didn't want to overrun because I didn't want Itameta to catch that flank from a Necrosphinx that apparently has Monster Killing Blow in the bag. And but I did go forward with the Colossus, figuring if something wants to charge him in the flank, that's fine. I have a little bit more faith in the Colossus. So here's bottom of 2 before movement. He is able to get some of his stalkers on the table, and he fits them between my stalkers and, well, he's got the other type. I've just got the necroserpents. But anyway, he's got the ones that shoot, and they turn to try to deal with one of my scorpions that are on the table. He is able to heal a wound off of his High Priest, as well as get Incantation of Desert Wind off. I don't have a picture after movement because things were starting to get intense and I forgot, but his Necrosphinx charges into my Horse Archers and makes it. His High Priest charges into my Serpents and makes it, and his General just kind of moves over on the hill and then turns his back to the SBOT2, which is kind of ballsy, but with the Armor of Ages, it makes sense. Other than that, his chariots just kind of maneuver for position, and that's really it. He didn't take the bait with the, with the Colossus. In his shooting phase, his stalkers take pot shots at my scorpion and actually do 2 wounds to him. It was really close. I didn't realize that the stalkers didn't get the arrows of Asp, and that they actually have to worry about ballistic skill negatives and stuff. So that was another very valuable lesson that I was educated on, because I was like, "What are you doing? You hit more than that." He's like, "No." I'm like trying to help him kill me. I'm awful at this. We go into combat, and that's what it kind of looks like. We didn't put any wounds on him. I think he did 1 to us or something like that. I made a decent amount of regens, but they still count for combat res. So in the end, 4 total die, and I gave ground a couple inches, and he pursued. And then, of course, his High Priest make very quick work of the Stalkers, the Necroserpents. I don't use that unit well. I mean, I'm going to take them out of my list after this is over, but they don't do anything once I bring them on the table. I brought them because I like the initiative checks, but unless you have infantry, they're really not super useful. I don't plan on bringing them after the tournament's over. But yeah, he overruns quite significantly and almost runs into the impassable terrain. But Bernice is still alive, and she still has that Ruby Ring of Ruin, so let's see what she can do. Here's top of 3 after movement, and for the most part, my Tomb Scorpion did charge into the Stalkers and make it, weathering their stand and shoot. The Baby Archers and the Ushabti turned to face the Tomb Scorpions that showed up on our back end there, because I need to deal with them before they deal with me. My General turns to face his General because I know it's coming, I'm just not happy about it. The Giant moves up to bait either the Chariots or the General. I'm trying to distract him off of my character. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I figure any bait is better than no bait. Something happens here. I didn't understand the rule. I was wrong, and I'll get to that in a minute. And I completely forget about my other Tomb Scorpion on the right flank there, so he just stays put and wonders why he even bothered coming on the board. I am bad at this game. My one saving grace is Bernice maneuvers. I know it's a risk. I'm hoping that at least one Horse Archer survives this next combat, but Bernice is standing by to Ruby Ring of Ruin his High Priest. That's it for movement. In the magic phase, I try to cast Ruby Ring of Ruin. It goes off, and my opponent miscasts Snake Eyes, followed by Snake Eyes, followed by wounding, followed by taking the wound, which is awesome. So I think he's back up to 7 wounds total. The fireball goes off, and I kill his High Priest, which was my main goal when I started, so I'm very proud of Bernice. She did amazing. He did not fail any of his crumble checks because his General was in range. I mean, 18-inch range bubble of leadership 10. At most, he would have lost 2 wounds. So we go into shooting, and the SBOT2 finish off one of them, and I think the wound that was put on there might have been from the Skeleton Archers. Just really wasn't enough to do enough. But, you know, I'll take it. 75 points at this point. And then in combat, his Necrosphinx does what they should do and just demolish the Horse Archers. I mean, just rip them to pieces. It wasn't even close. Oh, I wish I had a monster that did this. And then he restrained, and he turned and looked at Bernice, who immediately stopped laughing and started reloading the Ruby Ring. Over here in combat, the Scorpion does really well. He's able to kill one of them off, put a wound on another, and he doesn't take any wounds for his troubles. I really like the Scorpions. They usually produce. We go in the bottom of turn 3, and things start to turn a little bit. Good for him, bad for me. His Scorpion does end up charging into my archers, and his his Necrosphinx does charge into Bernice, which is really, really bad. His archers in the top right there turn to face my Scorpion who's on the table, and I believe he's able to do a wound to him. His Chariots turn to face the Tomb Scorpion, because, well, we know where that's going to go. His General does charge into my Colossus. I thought the impassable terrain was going to stop it from being possible. I was wrong. It turns out that when it comes to what facing you're in, it's the amount of models inside of the charge arc, not the not when. And so when it's a single model and you're straddling the line, you have to take the one that's the least advantageous for you in combat res. And in this situation, the flank would be. Totally legit. I'm stuck in 8th edition, the 9th age rule set still, and that's a big hampering with me because not everything works the way it used to. So what I really did was I set my giant up to easily be destroyed, and then he can easily overrun into my general. 100% on me. Rules mistake on my part, and my opponent was totally cool about it and educated me. The TO, verified it and everything like that. So nothing illegal happened. It was my ignorance and one of many reasons that my opponent is just better at me at this game, and I'm okay with that because I learned a lot. Other than that, not a whole lot left on the table. So it's getting a little dicey. So we go into combat, and my Tomb Scorpion's able to finish off another one of the snakes. I win the combat, he gives ground, and I restrain to turn and face the Chariots. Because, honestly, they're worth a lot more, and I figure his snake is going to countercharge me, and I can just kill him real quick. Get the points, and finally stop the shooting and the momentum of his Chariots. It's a risk, but crazy's all I've got left. Combat goes insanely bad here. His Tomb Scorpion with combat res and everything like that is able to kill 9 of the skeletons or something like that. So basically I have 1 left and the baby mage. It is not looking good. I give ground and he smartly pursues. So, oh, sorry baby mage. Over here, Bernice gets slaughtered. She actually puts up a hell of a fight. He doesn't kill her in combat. He kills her with combat res. Obviously, she did nothing back to the toughness 6 psychopath because he's not made out of wood elf bones. But yeah, if it had been mine, she'd have somehow killing blowed him because mine are that stupid. And then he overruns off the table so that my Boshati can't finish him off. Very smart move because that's what I wanted to do. In this combat, considering the fight and everything, my Colossus actually does really well, putting a couple of wounds on his general. Unfortunately, he gets slaughtered for his trouble. Timber doesn't do any wounds to him because I have to re-roll them, and otherwise it would have done well. But he still did 2 wounds to him, so I can't complain. And then he overruns and slams into Itamedagasi. So, all hope isn't lost, but it's dwindling. Here's top of 4 after movement. In the top right there, the Scorpion went into the archers and made it. Didn't take any damage for his charge. On the left center there, my other Tomb Scorpion slams into the flank of the Chariots. I don't expect to wipe the unit, but if I can get him down to 25%, I'd be thrilled. It really just comes down to it. I know his Stalker's going to charge me in the rear, but I figure I can killing blow him or something. He's only got a wound or so left. He's got no way to heal. And I'm also kind of hoping that he fails a crumble check, which he has not done yet. If it was me taking him, though, I'd fail him because I know how to roll dice. The Boshati really don't have anywhere to go, so I just kind of leave them behind a hill, kind of hoping to hold points. I thought about turning them to deal with the Necrosphinx, but I thought also if my general died, then it's an easy charge for his dragon into my rear. I didn't really know what to do at this point, so I was just grabbing at straws. But that's really it for my movement. We go into combat, and Itamedagasi knocks it out of the friggin' park. He does take 2 wounds, which is to be expected, but I put 3 more onto his general. I actually won this combat, and he had to give ground. I did hesitate for a second. I almost thought about resisting, but then I realized, no, that's stupid. It's his turn next anyway. I might as well hold him in combat. Itamedagase is really only one that has a chance of putting any more wounds on him. So I did, and yeah, we're just 2 inches further to the right. We go over here into combat, and we have a flub fest. I don't do anything. He doesn't do anything. I have a flank. He has a banner. He doesn't have a musician. We stand there going, what the hell just happened? The dice gods were not smiling on me. Over here, though, this Scorpion is able to demolish all but 2 of the skeletons. So that was awesome. That was a lot better. And you know what? The dice gods didn't smile at me where it mattered, but, you know, I'll take what I can get because it still felt good. What didn't feel good was Baby Mage getting cut in half by this psychotic Scorpion, and of course with his stomps he finished off the other one. Not that it mattered, he had me in combat res, and yes, they're vaporized, which is very, very sad. Here's bottom of 4 after movement, and his Tomb Scorpion charges into the flank of Itamedagase. His Necrosphinx shows back up and is looking for love. His Stalker charges into the rear of my Tomb Scorpion, which was expected, and everything else is already dead. So, this should be fun. We go right into combat because there's really no point in going into the magic phase since most of them are done. And he didn't fail any of his crumble checks at all. The man is a savant with dice. So we go into combat. He starts off with the chariots, and the Tomb Scorpion's able to finish one off. He's able to finish off a chariot and the stalker that charged him in the rear, which was my plan, which I was thrilled about. He gives ground, I pursue, and we are 2 inches further to my right. In combat over here, at the beginning of his turn, he used his potion of toughness and got +3 toughness, so he was toughness 9, and I had to re-roll to wound him, which means I needed 6s followed by 6s. I got my assailant spell off. I only got 4 hits. I would have wounded twice, but with the re-rolls, I didn't wound at all. Of course, everything else that I attacked him with didn't wound. And with combat res alone, I think he did a couple of more wounds to me. Itamedagase, actually, if it hadn't been for the falling apart checks, he would have been fine. But no, unfortunately, he ate my lunch, and his Lord was able to stay in place, and his Scorpion, I think, moved up just a little bit. But yeah, Itamedagase died, and oh, man, what a slaughter. So we go into turn 5 here, and really, I was wrong. His General and his Scorpion both restrained and turned to face the Boshati. In the top right there, I did kill off the rest of his skeletons, but then in the beginning of my turn, I failed my leadership check, killing off the Scorpion, so kind of a wash. Everything else I passed, I might have done 1 more wound to the Boshati. I don't remember, but yeah, it's really not looking good. Shooting is a miserable failure because I can't wound him. So we go into combat, and I'm able to put 2 more wounds on the chariots. I win this combat with all that's said and done. Here's 2 wounds on a chariot. They move 2 inches to the right, and I pursue. Here's bottom of turn 5, his General and his Scorpion. Of course, he passes all of his leadership checks because the man, the myth, the legend doesn't fail. He charges into the Boshati. I don't think that they could stand and shoot, so they just kind of accept it. He makes it no problem. Maybe they did, because it looked like he took another wound at some point. And yeah, his Necrosphinx just kind of floats around going, there's nothing to do. We go into combat, and my Tomb Scorpion's still doing good. He's steadily hacking away at his chariots. I do want to say at this point, my opponent realized he wasn't attacking with his horses. It would have been 4 more attacks in the previous 2. Maybe it would have changed something. Maybe he would have killed off the Scorpion. Is what it is, not the end of the world. But I did want to point that out. That probably has something to do with the longevity of the Scorpion. But I kill another chariot. He loses combat, gives ground 2 inches, and I pursue. In combat over here, though, his General and the Scorpion just make easy work out of the Boshati. I think there was only 2 left in the end, and the 2 that were left wouldn't have gotten to an attack because they would have been destroyed in combat prior to being able to attack. So with combat res and everything, they just crumbled into dust. And it's sad. It's really sad. That brings us to the top of 6. The only thing I had left is my Scorpion. And can you guess what I rolled? Can you guess what I rolled on my crumble check? Yeah, it was a 10. So the Scorpion just falls into dust. And that's it. I'm tabled. Honestly, really good game, amazing opponent, and it doesn't look like it, but I felt like I put up a good fight. I really do. His General was pretty close with 6 wounds, so it's just, man, what a difficult list. What a great opponent, and what a phenomenal game. Really, really enjoyed it. So this game was tough, but there's a very good reason for it. My opponent was better than me, and I'm not just saying that. He is the #2 ranked Warhammer, the Old World player in the world, confirmed by both him and the TO. If they're going to say it, I'm going to buy it. And judging by the skill that this guy showed and the difference in ability on the game, I choose to believe it. I'm actually proud of this loss. I killed his High Priest on a dragon. I feel really good about that. Bernice dominated with her Ruby Ring of Ruin. I don't want to talk about what happened afterwards. The Necro Sphinx stomping her head into the ground. I don't believe in that. I don't think that's a myth. That's a myth. That's just awful slander. We'll pick her up. The armor to ages on his Tomb King was a tough nut to crack. I knew it was going to be when we got into it. The fact that Idametagasi did so well in that first round of combat against him, actually winning the combat, was amazing, but unfortunately with the potion of toughness, it just sealed the combat for him. I couldn't get past toughness 9. I don't know a lot of things that could without a massive amount of poison attacks, which I just didn't bring. So him beating him, especially with the little Tomb Scorpion in the flank, that extra combat res, yeah. Unfortunately, it was a done deal after that first round, and still, he outplayed me. It was a great kit, and that's exactly what should have happened. The Boshakti were lackluster this game. I just couldn't roll average with them. They never really got their time to shine, and that's like the first time that's happened since I've been taking them, so it's a bummer, but is what it is. My Necrosphinx must be made out of Wood Elf bones. I don't know what else is the reason. I must have the worst Necrosphinx in the tournament. It has produced nothing this entire series. I'm disgusted with it. My opponent's Necrosphinx hitting and wounding with Monster Killing Blow and taking him out is actually, it sums up what I feel about my Necrosphinx. I will never field him again after this tournament. I miss my Mutilith Vortex Beast. He wouldn't have let me down like this. It was really cool to play against this guy, though. I learned a ton. I was wrong about a couple of rules. He educated me and was totally gracious about it. Really, really cool the entire time. I have no problem with this defeat. This was a really fun game. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to play against him again. So, yeah, if you get the opportunity to face off against this guy, take it. It's a lot of fun. All right, the Tithe of Bones. The Tithe is going to be a little shy this week, but I still did get some. For his characters, I was able to pick up his High Priest. Let's hear it for Bernice. And you're damn straight I'm counting dragons. I got 1 bone dragon in the coffers. I'm not even ashamed. In his core, I was able to take out 10 of his archers, 3 of the stalkers, and 2 of the chariots. That's right. If it's off the board at the end of the game, it counts. It's a tithe. We get up, we collect, we send to King Bubba Hotep. In his special choices, I was able to drop 1 of his scorpions, and in rare, I did get 1 Necrosphinx. So, again, not a huge offering to the great King of Kings, but still better than nothing. That's it, though. That's another battle report in the history books. Real quick, though, I've had a ton of fun with the SBOT tournament so far. Yeah, I'm getting my butt kicked, but that's part of it. It's a lot of fun. If you get the opportunity to join the SBOT3 and you like Warhol, I highly recommend it. No, they don't know I'm saying that. No, I don't get any kickbacks for saying that. I don't even know if they know I'm doing battle reports on it. I don't care. It's been a lot of fun, and if you're passionate about the old world, you're looking to play a bunch of people from all over the world, that's probably the coolest way to do it. As always, though, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comments section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. And as always, thanks.